want me to talk about this next subject that I have?
Yeah,
it's
go
kind
ahead.
of related to
Yes, sir.
We love Matt King
crime
stories.
and mystery. Okay. So I found this mom on TikTok. Her name is Shauna Burns, and she's this really cool, sincere mom. First time I came across her, she had this TikTok explaining about like medical bills, and if you go to a hospital, saying
Itemized.
I ask a hospital to itemize all that they're charging you, because when you do that, they will take away certain charges.
The first time I saw that TikTok, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then people started duetting her saying, oh my God, Shauna, I did what you said, and my bill went down from $1,200 to $600. I'm like, oh my God, this is
like
actually
hundreds of dollars. Like little, like they charge you for little things like Band-Aids.
Is she a nurse and like knew about this hack, or
no? I think she just
has had experience.
Yeah,
with, like,
she's like the
debt
couponer of the
collectors and
medical
everything.
world.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think everything in general, she just knows how to save money.
Because
and who's,
if you're like, show me the list, it kind of is like you have to prove what you're charging me, as opposed to being like, yeah, well, this was the.
It is crazy that they can just say like, "Oh, your bill's this," and you're gonna pay because it's your medical bill. Like you're not gonna question it.
I think she had like a previous job at a collection agency in Florida where she worked for like 4 years and just really kind of knows the in and outs about it.
What were some of like the items that they would try to charge you for?
Band-Aids.
Oh, Heath, I really wish I had like the exact.
No, it would be things like Band-Aids, and they would overprice it like to the max. With
they charge you $35 for the Band-Aid, $15 for the Neosporin under the Band-Aid.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so I want to dive into this though. So I was already familiar with this mom as a TikToker. I loved her stuff because she has just this really sincere, down to earth, candid way of talking to the camera. You feel like you know this woman, and she's like your best friend. So she starts one of her TikToks. It comes on my For You page where she was going to tell the story about the time her daughter was kidnapped and how she found her daughter.
What?
And I was like, okay, I gotta watch this.
That's
and
insane.
I love her account. She posts TikToks like all the time, and so she posts this like 20-part TikTok story explaining about the time that her daughter was kidnapped and how they were able to find her. Now,
that's insane.
I want to, and I'm going to try to like summarize it, but let me just be clear. And Shauna, if you're listening, I know that this is your story to tell. I am not telling this story for you. I just want to share how moved I was by it. And I feel like for anybody, please go look at her TikToks and watch it. It's very long, and it's a lot to go through.
It's still out, and it's still public for people to see. Right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
just in case if she private, I don't
because
know if she
at the end of it, she does talk about her daughter, and because people always questions, well, like, what did the daughter go through and everything? She goes, once again, that's not my story. And this was traumatic for this woman, and I'm not using her trauma as any exploitation or anything. I just want to say peace and love to Shauna Burns. I love this woman, and so she basically tells this story about how her daughter went missing for about 13 months.
Ooh,
okay,
God.
I want to make sure I'm getting all these facts right, and if I am wrong, please forgive me. She got a message from one of her friends saying, "Hey, I think I found your daughter Haley in a chat room," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, my daughter who's been missing for 13 months. Like, what do you know? Like, whatever." She goes, "I think this is her." She said that she's in this room and like a far away, doesn't know really where she is or anything.
Hold on, sorry. How old was she when she went missing?
The daughter, I think it was about she was 16.
Wow.
I think when she was held captive by a man. Okay. They get in contact with her. They were able to figure out if it really was her because she wanted the girl who was in contact with her through the chat room ask her a question that only she knows about me. Yeah. She nailed the question so they knew that they had it, and they were like, "Look through your window. Do you see anything?" She goes, "It's very dark. I know that like I'm on a street." And she goes, "Can you send us a picture or anything?" She like sent a picture outside. So all they have is a picture.
Wow.
Of this like street that they're at.
Okay.
And so she goes, that's all they have and all they can use. And I think they know that she was like in Georgia apparently. So all she has, and you can see the picture like this is all she's given.
Oh, wow.
And she was able to zoom in and notice that there was like a few letters on one of the street signs, just a few she could make out. And right behind this truck, a for sale sign. Okay. She does all this aggressive, hardcore searching, trying to figure out where and she ends up finding the listing for the house and realizes and pinpoints on the street. So now she has the location. And once again, these are all through TikToks, her explaining the story through multiple parts, okay? And it's such a complicated process, having to talk to your detective, having to talk to the local police department, having to talk to the state of Georgia, all approving to figure out where her daughter is. And basically, they were able to figure out the location, getting the police to like come and find her daughter. Yeah. And then like making the daughter was like so scared because she was basically being held captive in a room by another guy. Then trying to make sound for the police to hear her, like while they're driving by, and it's like very dark. And dude, she tells the story in the best way. And then the cops then basically get to the front door, and they go, and then the guy, her captor, answers the front door. He goes, "Is anyone else here with you?" And they know because they heard her make the sound. They identified the house.
Oh my gosh.
And the guy's like, "No, there's no one here." They go, "You sure about that? We like heard someone making sound and everything." And they're like, "No, like there's no one who lives here." And then like they go, "Are you really sure about that? We feel like there is someone else here." And the guy finally goes like, "Okay, yeah, my like girlfriend's here." And he goes upstairs and like goes, "You have to play the game." And apparently this guy had like held other multiple girls captive, had their IDs from like past girls, gives her an ID of like a former girl, and goes, "You have to go downstairs, and when the cops ask you who you are, you have to be this person." So they go down and they give her the ID, and she goes, "Is this you?" She's like, "Yeah." And they go, "How do you spell your name?" And she purposely spells the name of the ID wrong. So the cop already knows, okay, she spelled it wrong. And then goes, "When's your birthday?" And then her daughter, or the girl, gives her actual real birthday as like a hint to the cops.
Great.
It's not the ID on the thing. And then right then and there, they put the guy under arrest.
Wow.
Okay, at that very moment, why doesn't she just go, "I'm being held captive," instead of like,
You're
dude,
terrified.
trauma. You've been held captive by an abuser who's mentally got into your head. You are scared beyond belief.
Yeah, 13 months of being just tortured, I'm sure.
A lot of people held captive don't say anything when there's a cop there. They're just
where they've had moments to get
fearful.
away, and they just
you just think that your captor is going to do something at that very moment,
or even still like right there at the doorway, he could have done. You never know.
Yeah, you just black out, and you're just like, I need to stay here. Like they like brainwash you.
Yeah, it's probably the first person she saw in 13 months too. Like that could have been.
I wonder how she got access to some sort of chat.
I think
room.
it was a tablet. She had like a tablet of some sort, and it was on really low battery. And it was like a one time where she had like some downtime. Hopefully, once again, I'm saying that right. But the rest of I just recommend like going and finding it and reading. Because I don't really want to go into like her getting reconnected with her mom. I feel like that's really her mom's story to tell. But
that's incredible, though.
How much like respect she has to law enforcement and the people who did bring their connect them with their daughter, and talking about the moment. Like I'm like so moved to tears by it. And so I highly recommend it. But it was such an interesting story. Wow. Once again, I don't want to.
They should have a documentary.
That is, I know exactly. Like that's just insane. How like it went from a chat room to just 13 months later, her daughter, like that situation, it sounded like she was never going to be like, it was just going to be like that forever for her.
Her captor was brainwashing her, telling her, "Don't reach out to your family. They hate you. And if they do find you, they're going to they want you arrested for like abandoning them." So there's some people right now who are held captive who are too scared to even reach out to home because they're brainwashed by their captors, thinking that their family doesn't want them.
Hearing that for so long, like me and Austin were in Bahamas. And we got into what we thought was a taxi. And they were supposed to take us back to the hotel. Yeah. We're in the back, and the guy's being super weird, like very shady. And all of a sudden, he sparks up a blunt and starts smoking a blunt, like as he's driving us.
What?
And I was like, what is going on?
Where was this again?
Bahamas.
Well, then again, it's the Bahamas.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I would probably have been like, maybe they do that here.
Very weird.
You want to Oxford, man.
But all of a sudden, he starts driving not the way we were coming from to get back to the
hotel.
hotel.
I think you've told me this.
And then he stops on the corner, and one of his buddies hops in the car.
Oh,
and now
my
it's
God.
2 guys driving us, and I was like, they're saying some stuff, and I just like,
dude,
my heart started racing, and like they were giving like they kept like looking back and giving weird looks, and I looked at Austin, and I was like, as soon as we get up to this stop sign, unlock your door, jump out, and let's go. And like as soon as we stopped, we opened the door and just ran. But like I had a crazy gut feeling.
Can you imagine
that
the
if we
child
would have
lock was
stayed in
on?
there? What?
Oh my
If the
god.
child
Oh my
lock was
god,
on.
dude, that just give me fucking like.
Dude,
I didn't know.
I would.
Have you ever told me this story? I've never heard this story before.
I don't know. I think I've told Matt.
I think you have told
Dude,
me
that's
a long
insane.
time ago, but oh my god.
Just that.
No,
it's-
but like I had that gut feeling like I am not like this is a bad idea to stay in here.
It's good to act quickly. When you have that gut feeling, don't like second guess yourself. Just
Yeah.
fucking go. Just get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Just like, remember the time where like I thought someone was in my backyard, immediately
Right.
called 911? Just don't wait.
No matter what,
it's
don't,
not worth it.
Don't be embarrassed either. Like
Yeah.
even if like somebody's following you from behind and you get like a weird gut feeling that somebody's
Yeah.
following you, it's not embarrassing to run.
No,
like,
not at all.
It's so no, but like
No, I-
I've been in that situation when I was younger where somebody would be following me and I'd be scared. Like I'd be
One time I was in New York and I was like leaving a bar, but I was like walking through Brooklyn, going back to like my friend's apartment, and there was this girl in front of me, and she was walking.
Oh.
and we
thought
happened
you
to
were-
be making the exact same turns,
Oh,
like
no.
and everything. And this girl was just started like picking up her pace and like running, and I, you know, but
And then you realized you were late, so you started picking up your pace.
No, and
Wait. You know how I said you remind me of John Mulaney?
Yeah.
He's the same story.
Really?
You never heard him say, well, kind of the same. He was like, it was like 2
Oh,
a.m.
about
and he was,
picking up the
he was
pace?
waiting for the train, and there was only, it was like 2 a.m. So there was like only another girl waiting for the train. And she
yeah.
looked behind and saw he was behind her. So she started picking up the pace. And he thought in his head, he was like, oh, the train must be coming. So he started picking up the pace. And like she was terrified. And that's exactly
Oh my
what it
God.
reminded me of. That's so
but then
funny.
what I did when I realized she thought I just crossed the street to make it look like, look, if I was
Right, I'm
following
okay,
you,
yeah.
I'm really distancing myself
Yeah.
from being across the street. Oh,
That's
know
man.
nice
what?
that you thought about that, though.
Yeah.
You know.